What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's the D.B.A.B. Podcast with your boys, Curtin, Cletus, Jack, and Cobb. No Adam tonight, but that's okay. We will hold it down. We are the original four, right? The Fantastic Four. Like I said, welcome back. We got a great episode. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, actually. Brief recap about March Madness, both men and women's, right? We're going here. Okay. We're going to definitely recap the Masters because we were all cultivated by that spectacle, just like every year, just like a lot of people are. We're going to dabble a little bit with the NBA playoffs, talk a little bit about tanking, right, Jack? And then also another thing within the MLB, and then also apply it to other sports, is the talk of expansion in different cities and all this kind of stuff. But great episode for you tonight. Again, it's the DBAB podcast. All right, it's another great episode of the DBAB podcast. Remember, you can catch us on YouTube. We got that Twitter account to come tweet at us. And we also are found anywhere that podcasts can be downloaded to listen to Apple, Spotify, all the above. So come check out our greatness. We are just four coaches here, we're just shooting the stuff, right? Okay, trying to clean it up a little bit. We're shooting the stuff,
Swinging.
just having a good time, swinging
Swing it.
that, swinging that stuff. Okay, try to be a little bit more kid friendly, but I'm sure stuff will slip out here and there. But that's okay. A little bit different format this week. Going to dive in a little bit more into the meat and potatoes of what our talk is. But
We're on right now.
Cletus has a be the light moment for us. So we are super excited to hear what he has to say. So Cletus, the stage is all yours, my man.
Thanks. Hey, I know it's been 2 weeks since we recorded. Is that right?
Yep.
Pretty close.
Freaking A, it's been a long time. Got the opportunity last week to take our seniors to go watch Special Olympics in Sonora. So that was a freaking awesome opportunity. Never seen it. Never seen Special Olympics. Always heard of it, but never witnessed it in person. That was probably like the highlight of my year right there. Was the Special Olympics. Seeing those kids compete and seeing just the absolute joy on their face for their opportunity just to go compete and just to be just to get after it. So, and it was pretty cool seeing our seniors kind of their faces and how that kind of helped them out with just life, putting stuff in perspective, which I think was a pretty cool opportunity that we got to do that for those kids and got to see those kids, like I said, those Special Olympic kids compete, and it was awesome. Enjoyed every freaking minute of it.
Awesome. That's awesome, Cletus. We're doing ours tomorrow.
Dude, that is
awesome.
that is like a really cool thing to see. Like last night at our baseball game, man, they had we played over in Red Oak, and they had two Special Olympic kids come out and throw the first pitch to the baseball game. And dude, these kids were on cloud nine, man. Like one of them was awesome. Like our kids loved it. They came over and gave our kids a high five too. And he had a red mullet. Like it was awesome. And dude, he threw the first pitch. The redhead mullet kid, he freaking fired that thing in there, and he did a little dance, and he was like, "Yeah!" Dude, it was the coolest moment ever. It was so fun.
So was it a better first pitch than what we saw from Travis Kelce?
Man,
Shout out to Travis Kelce. Shout out to the Kelce boys.
I think, speaking of Special Olympics, I think one thing that for us is be a perfect segment for what Cletus just said, be the light, would be how people in that, how they treat people would be a perfect example how we should treat people.
Yes.
Amen.
To us, that to them throwing that pitch was cloud nine, but then how he interacted with your kids, Cobbs. Most people would say, no, that's not how you do it because he's the enemy team. But he literally went and high-fived and had a good time with your kids just as much as his own kids. That how if you've never seen Champions with Woody Harrelson, watch it. It's a good movie.
Dude, it was such a great movie.
How see the perspective, how they treat people is how we should treat each other on a given day, and to be a perfect example, be the light.
Yeah. Amen.
Well,
Hey,
Cletus, that's good stuff, man. I love
Yeah.
watching Special
Awesome.
Olympics. I'm
Yeah.
working ours tomorrow.
Yeah,
Well,
it was like I said, it was pretty cool. I've never seen it. I've heard of it. Never been anywhere. We were a part of it, and so just a just opportunity to see that. And
Mhm.
like I said, our kids, we had some kids competing, and they were freaking on cloud nine
yeah,
the
man.
whole day.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
got-
Even the next day, they were just, Coach, you see me?
yeah, and it's
Heck yeah.
the whole thing about that is it's super awesome because they're great kids. Like even the kids here, like I always try to interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
Even a small conversation or anything, because like they never take anything for granted, and they just love life and they enjoy it to the moment. Like doing what you were talking about with their Special Olympics, like that is their Super Bowl, World Series, World Cup final, to a degree, whatever. But they just have so much fun with the opportunity and with the limelight, and it's such a great, joyous scene to see them partake in all that. So
yeah,
it's such a great thing that our high schools do.
Be the light, baby.
yeah.
Love
We got a couple of baseball kids going tomorrow to help work it and help with the kids. And man, they like every year they ask me in the fall. They're like, Coach, like they went the year before, and they're like, Coach, when it's the Special Olympics, man, we can't wait to go back and all this. Like they enjoy it, which is it's obviously awesome to
Yeah,
see that
it's
you got some kids that are clearly leading by example and doing things that out of their doing things that they don't have to do. They're going out of
yeah,
their way to help somebody else. It's so
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. And like I said, it's just great. It's all around great for everybody. From the buy-in of your players and other people, and the buy-in from those kids. It's a special time to be able to witness that and enjoy the greatness that they get to enjoy and just have fun and all that stuff. So, Clete, thank you again. That was awesome, man. That was great insight. That's a great be the light moment um, that we can all be very proud of.
But when he comes in with the Be the Light, he comes with the rock star one.
Yeah, you ain't
Yeah,
lying, man.
absolutely.
Like
You knocked it out of the
I
park.
was so excited about this. That's the one last like 2 weeks ago we were recording. I wanted to say something because I was pretty pumped about that opportunity of being able to take our kids to that. I was freaking pumped about it, and I didn't know how our kids would like take not take it, but how they would react with it. And our kids did awesome. Our seniors, did a freaking phenomenal job of just kind of taking it in and just being encouraging for everybody there.
Absolutely. And I got one thing to say. Like, I know we didn't do any name dropping and whatnot, and it's not a problem that we have. But for our listeners, I want our listeners to understand and know that on this show, we are not utilizing this platform as a way to bash anything in a negative light for our kids, fellow coaches, or our schools. We want our listeners to know that if it slips the tongue and names are mentioned or whatever the case may be, we're using it in a positive light. We're using it in a positive aspect. And, with society as it is nowadays or whatever, like the boys know that if somebody comes and they hear this and they get offended or they get upset, like there's something wrong with them because we are using our platform as coaches here. And whether it's 10 people listen or 100 people listen or a million people listen, we are using it as a platform to, in a positive light, showcase the good things that our kids are doing that it might not be broadcasted in other mediums. So please, to our listeners, understand that if we do happen to name drop kids or schools or whatever the case may be, we are doing it from a good heart, um, with the intentions of highlighting the positive aspects that our kids are doing, right? Because at the end of the day, we all got into this profession for the kids. It's not like we got in it for the money or for the fame or the glory or anything like that. We did it for the kids and to make sure that they have a fun and joyous time um, in high school competing and whatever they do outside of that. So just again, just as a reminder, that's why we do it, right? So don't take anything away from it. That whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to address that, just in case if anybody says anything, they can come deal with me directly. I'll handle it. I'm a man. I'll handle it. I'll take everything for it on this show. My name is Joshua Curtin. I'll fucking take it all. Okay, for everybody on the show, I will take it. Okay, because
And
no, I'm just saying. I'm gonna get my blood pushed. I'm gonna get off my high
Swing
horse.
it,
High
swing
horse
it,
here in a
baby.
second. But again, just to let people know. But again, Cletus, great job with your Be the Light.
Oh,
Truly
and-
appreciate it.
I want to piggyback off what you said. If you get offended, go play in the street. Go play on
Amen.
I-20. If you get offended, go play on I-20.
Go kick rocks, big dog. Go kick
Amen.
rocks.
We are here to positively.
I positively believe you can go play in the street.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I
Well
just wanted-
said, Grizzly Bear. Well said.
I agree. I
Well
agree.
said,
I,
Mudflaps.
I just wanted to throw that out there. You can put a little asterisk next to it or whatever. I just wanted to throw it out there or whatnot. So anyway, fruit roll it up. Let's go. All right.
on jumping ship, be the light. We're all about positivity.
Be the light.
If you
Yeah,
met
we
us-
love our
if
kids.
you ever met us,
Be a
we're
good
hoot.
be a good person. Be a great person, because if you turn on social media nowadays and all you're gonna see is negativity in the world around us. So be a great person, be a great role model, and do good things to be a good, positive role model for
And boom,
the next generation.
hit him in
Be
the
the
mouth.
change.
Be the
Boom.
change.
Hey, Cody.
Amen.
Right here, I gotta
Quick
make
question
a
for
comment.
you.
I gotta make a
What's
comment.
that there, Mudflaps?
Hold that, Jack. Hold that, Jack.
Hey, listen here, Oompa Loompa.
Ooh.
What you cooking? What's for dinner?
I'm cooking Italian sausage with some little small sweet peppers and some noodles.
I knew you liked the sausage.
Hey, all
And
right,
the
there,
food.
fruit roll up.
And the food. Boom! There it is. If you don't know, maybe it'll get discussed here. Anyways, moving on to the next thing.
Hey, you're gonna lose it, that fruit roll up.
Easy. Next,
God,
next.
easy. Moving into the next
All
thing.
right,
We're going.
next segment. I gotta bust our boys' chops over here.
Yeah.
So
Mud
the
flaps here.
whole thing with the final, the girls' final, which was highly entertaining. I love the women's over the men's this year.
Yeah,
Shout out women.
Yeah, that was
but
awesome.
Miss Bayou ain't Barbie herself, face palm and Clark.
Shout
I
out
don't
to
have a
Angel
problem with it. I don't have a problem with it because she
Not
got
me
what she
neither.
got. Because Clark
Amen.
did it to a weaker, lesser opponent at a
Mhm.
weaker, lesser stage than Bayou Barbie did it in the Natty Championship. Put a ring on it.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
Mr.
I agree with all
Cobbs-
that.
Mr. Cobb's here saying,
Well-
"Wait, that's unclassy."
No,
Bull
stop.
crap.
Now,
Bull crap. Bull
now
crap.
to lead on to that, to lead into that, I didn't know that Clark did that before, and then when I found out, then yeah, she gets what she gets.
Yep.
That was in the moment when that was the first time I saw her do it, and I was like, man, during the game watching it live is when I saw it, and I said, man, win in class at least. But then after I found out, after you sent me the article about what Clark did, then yeah, Clark gets everything she got.
I mean, yes. I mean that's.
I agree with you now, but I didn't know all that until I read it.
Yeah, but that's
I
also
don't have a problem.
and not
Make
not, I'm-
sports fun again.
and I agree, and I'm not gonna put blame to this guy over here, right? The cop, but that is one of the problems with our society nowadays is people just jump down the throat of people without seeing the full picture. Because I completely agree with what Jack said about what she did. Now, I do think that she probably went a little overboard with the ring thing and stuff. But again, part of it is that it's a national championship game. They're about to win. They were convincing and stuff like that. But
Joe Burrow did it 3-4 years
I
earlier.
understand that, but also you can go play into the part about male and
The
female.
gator
and all that kind of
chomp
stuff.
with
But-
Tebow. Come
No,
on.
all that stuff applies because you saw it all over Twitter and people were defending it and stuff. And I thought it was a bit silly how much it blew up and how
Yes.
people were taking different sides and
Yes.
how a lot of people
Yeah.
were attacking it and they turned it
Yes.
into a race thing, which was for me
That was
Why?
first off
stupid.
way
Why?
blown out of proportion.
Why? Why?
It's our society now. They always want to jump down those avenues.
I agree. And it
But I told y'all, if people are going to talk the talk, they better be ready. They better be ready to walk the walk. And like Jack said, she earlier in the tournament did the same stuff, and now she was getting it back to praise. And to her credit, she came back out and said later that she had no problem with it.
Yeah, exactly. We made it more as a society made it more of a bigger deal than what the girls did. That's friendly competition. I know for me when I play basketball and do any sports, golf for Ansel, I say F this game. You know, I literally say, when you guys shoot a
Very
good
true.
shot, when you guys shoot a shot, I'm like, screw you. You know what I mean? It's friendly competition, but that's like that. I mean, that to me, that was more entertaining of a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women,
Yeah,
than the men.
yes.
And we can go on for
They-
men game forever, but whole money thing and the whole argument about all that, but that's not what we're talking about. But that's their society. They made it about race. Well, race don't matter. Clearly, the better team won the national championship. Even by everybody in the country has been talking about this. Well, it doesn't matter because even the great Shaq just mentioned that she was going to be one of the greatest LSU basketball players to ever play the game. He's mentioned that, and he's guess what? He's an alum of LSU.
Right.
So
But what wears me out, like talking about the race stuff, like if our world would ever just get away from that, we'd be so much better as a world.
well, like we said in our
well,
Be the Light
man,
segment,
like,
right?
well,
we
it's
treated
doesn't
each other
matter.
like how we treat
Doesn't-
each
yeah.
other.
In the
Well,
end, it doesn't
it's-
matter what the hell you are, who you are. It's all about how you play and how you handle yourself. Hell, there's plenty of people that are a different race, and you can say, "Oh, well, he's white." Well, okay, he still handled himself like crap. Cool. He's still. I mean, it doesn't matter.
What's that old saying? The world needs to be more like a locker room.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Great video, by the way.
Yeah.
It is a good
What I was
video.
my 2 cents on this is I have no problem with it at all.
No.
The only thing I can see coming out of this is those little like
Oh,
you know,
little
6,
dribblers.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14-year-olds
Yeah.
acting like a bunch of punk asses, you know, doing that kind of crap because they see it on TV.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see somebody big do it.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
I
you know
also,
what I'm saying? And
I
that's
also
the
think-
only like negative thing I would say
yeah.
I
agree
could see
with that.
coming
As a
from
coach,
it.
for sure, definitely.
No, but I think also that would then stem to the coaches at that allowing it because, like, for me as a coach, like, I
Well,
don't.
I'm ripping
I-
ass. If I see that crap,
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like it because in my mindset, when I see my players do it, I don't like it because of what can come.
Which
on the
obviously
flip
we
side of
saw.
that.
We saw.
You know, like I don't want my kids like. And again, I know competition kids are going to do stuff or whatever, and if it's within the means and it's friendly and stuff like that. But if I feel like it goes over the top or if it's not needed, I try to coach my kids to play the game in the right manner to a degree where it doesn't become where
so
that takes over everything.
we had something like this happen at this track meet last week. 4x1 relay, our kid finishes fourth, another team finishes fifth. Fifth place kid gets across the finish line, throws the baton down. Which in track, if you do anything that you're DQ'd. Starting clerk said he threw the baton down. My buddies was the coach of that team, and he asked me, he said, "Do you see it?" I said, "Yeah." But I said it was a kid being frustrated. I mean, that kind of stuff I get. Like being frustrated, being upset that you didn't make it, and being a little emotional. I can get with the emotion stuff.
Yeah, it's like
But-
baseball.
But you also got to be able to compose yourself because that and those are team points that may cost you a track meet or a game.
But that's something I feel like has changed with our society now and our generations is like these days, like I feel like the generation doesn't know how to handle themselves because they see everything on social media and they see everything on the internet and how people are handling themselves and they're the professionals. Well, like, normally, okay, cool. I'm going to handle myself like a professional because he's a professional. Why not? He's doing it. He's a leader of, like in my sport. Why don't I act like him? Like our kids, like I just feel like the generation doesn't know how to handle themselves at all. Like they don't know how to have composure and all that. And it could start, unfortunately, as coaches, we have to coach that now, which is even more crazy.
But I think it is a great
what's-
coaching point to teach those kids because they don't know.
No,
they
don't.
see it. They see it
Nobody
on.
teaches them.
They see it in the professionals and sports and on social media and stuff like that. But it does provide us as coaches a great opportunity to teach them that there's a right way and a wrong way to do stuff, and help them prepare them to handle those matters better as they grow older. You know what I mean? And to understand and learn that there are time and places where certain things are okay and certain things are not okay. If that makes sense.
What? And I don't know how to say this correctly, and I'm trying to think of the word. It's never okay to lose. I don't care if it's freaking checkers or
There's no moral victories, Cletus.
yeah. When you're competing, be pissed off that you lost, right? But how you handle it and how you learn what could you do better to be successful. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to fail in order to be successful.
Well, you mentioned it earlier there, Clete boy, when you mentioned the
boy.
Spurs, when you lost, when you we were talking about the Spurs in Miami series where Ray Allen makes that three, and you say the next year the Spurs lost that series, and the next series they win because of their loss.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like I wouldn't be anything else if it wasn't for coaching. If I'm going to be a coach, I want to be a teacher. I'd be doing something else. But I think sports teach us more in 48 to 60 minutes than we can learn in 60 years. Because of the highs, lows, ups, downs, teamwork, and you know, like social media has brought a damper. You know, sometimes social media is a good thing because we see some good things and we see some very bad things, but it's also bad. Like be the example. So you know, kids get frustrated. I know Cobbs. I'm gonna talk highly of him real fast. He says you have your 20 seconds to reset. And he tells his kids this all the time. You have, after you strike out or something bad happens, you have your 20 seconds to reset. Then you got to come back and bring your compass back. Like be back here. You have your 20-second reset time. Say what you want, do what you want for 20 seconds, but don't let it be out of character for you. And then you come back and be ready for the team. I've seen his kids do that. They have their little 20-second spill where they blow up and they do something that out of character for them. And then they come back and they're like, cheer on their teammate back at plate. I've seen that, and it to me that's example of losing your cool and then coming back. Well, we're all humans. We all lose our cool. We all lose our composure, and I think that's a big come back to reset. You know, come back, have your 20-second breakdown, and come back. And
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because, like, I don't remember what game, a couple weeks ago, whatever. You know, like I always tell the kids that, obviously, and they know it. And, dude, I lost my cool one day at a baseball game because, like, we did something stupid, whatever. And, like, I was in the dugout and I, like, just took my hat off and threw it down. And it was one of my young kids. Like, I actually caught me off guard. He was like, Coach, you got 20 seconds. You better figure it out. And I was like, dang. Like, he really just called me on it. But I was like, that's fine. I was like, and then I used that as an example. I was like, guys, we're holding everybody accountable. Coaches, we're all holding each other accountable, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, but you're building a good culture though, because your kids
Yeah.
believe into it and do it. They can call you out on it too.
Yeah, it was crazy. And he, you know, the kid was like, Coach, you're not mad at me for calling you out. I was like, no, like you're holding me accountable just like I hold you accountable and the rest of the team. Like that's what you're supposed to do. I was like, and then, you know, like in the end, obviously I apologize for losing my cool and all that, but like it was just cool to see that like what I am saying is actually resonating with the kids.
Keep fighting the good fight, my brother. Keep fighting the good fight. Let's change subjects real quick. How about the Masters? How about my spirit animal is John Rahm? I'm telling you right now. He gets down on tequila and tacos. My two favorite things on planet Earth is tequila and tacos, and I can get down with John Rahm because you know he's a Spaniard and you know he gets down on tequila and tacos.
Yeah, man.
Hey, to lead into that, remember, Jack, we were talking about in the office. So I heard, and I didn't get to look it up yet, and I was trying to today, but then I had a bunch of field work to do, so I didn't get to look it up. But I heard that he was born with a nub foot.
Josh, clarify.
I'd have to look it up.
Search it up, man.
Yeah, the fact, like, if it really is true, the fact that he could hit a ball as far as he can, and he could walk, 72 holes or whatever,
you're gonna
on a fake foot is
you're gonna make me feel worse about my golf game than
dude. Hey, you ain't lying, man.
Hey, how about? No, it was funny. You know, talk about the Masters. I started watching. Have y'all seen that documentary, Full Swing?
Yes.
On Netflix?
I started watching it the other day.
I'm on episode like 2 or 3 when they talk about the Masters. They went to Augusta with Koepka when he missed the cut.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to watch that.
How about freaking Koepka has this like big trophy, this wall of trophies. He says
for Augusta.
The center one is for the Masters.
Yeah.
That's where the Masters trophy go.
Yes.
And he freaking collapses.
Yes. And you know he was sitting real pretty Friday night.
Well, he avoided the weather Thursday and Friday,
and then
right?
he plays. Yeah, he got done with his round Friday afternoon before the weather hit, and then that's when the weather hit, and then all those other people had to play through it.
Yeah.
I think it's
hold up.
My favorite story is Bennett.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm a little partial. He's an Aggie, but freaking Bennett being freaking what was he 6 under?
Dude, he finished like.
But he got done before the weather too.
He got to play with the top group like the second day, like as an amateur. Like,
amateur.
gracious.
Hey,
No.
it was funny. His comment was like, I think he said the A&M course is a lot harder than Augusta.
Dang.
But he didn't win.
All right.
You can't say that unless you win.
Well, he
Come on
finished. What was it, top 20, top
Yeah,
15?
but
All
come
right,
on.
so here's-
That was
All right,
an
so-
awesome moment for
Oh,
the
it was.
amateur.
I like.
Hey, the ball bearing's got a question, guys. Be quiet.
No, I don't have a question. So quick research. Rom was born with the club foot. He had some surgery, and it does affect him. Like he's had to adjust the way he's played golf compared to others. So he has that. Um, and so,
So
like
does he just swing that shit?
Dude,
He's
he
losing.
swings
it
that
affects
shit.
it affects his backswing. Like he had to adjust his backswing based on having his condition
Well, shut
Mhm.
out,
being
Rob,
born with.
man.
What?
So,
But
we know
anyways, to throw my 2 cents in real quick before y'all overtake everything. So like, so
You
obviously,
had your soapbox. Stop.
Oh,
You
come
had a
on.
soapbox.
come on now, come on. I'm the host of this show, okay?
I am the captain now.
I'm the captain of this ship, okay? I'm the one that runs this bitch.
I
Anyway,
am the captain.
Anyway, so we all know that John Rahm won. He was 12 under, right? So like,
That's
shout out
pretty
to
impressive.
shout out to Adam and AC Square. They kept saying like -12, all that stuff on their podcast or whatever. They were driving me crazy with how they were announcing scores. But he finished 12 under. But the thing about Rahm was really impressive through that all the adversity of the weather. He was always consistent from the beginning, the first round to the end round, and that is why he won the Masters, in my opinion. When you had Koepka, who started off on fire the first 2 rounds,
Yeah.
and the third round he kind of held, even, and then he kind of tapered off the final round. Whether you want to say yips or whatever the case may be, he held
Strongbow,
consistent.
baby.
It's a game of misses.
It's the
Yeah,
rainbow,
and then
baby.
but Rom stayed consistent and started playing and got confidence when he saw others struggle, and it's not like he played some great golf. Watching him and some of his shots he played some great golf. And in the final round, he held his nerve and he was able to win the Masters, and it was a great thing for him and for golf to see that, um, and all that. Speaking of Bennett, I thought Bennett started off the tournament on fire as an amateur. It was great to see him be able to step up on that stage, the Masters tournament, which is probably the biggest golf tournament throughout the year, and be able to handle that, play with the big boys, and stay with them. Now he tapered off at the end, but I think some of that was just from inexperience and the youth and all that kind of stuff. But he still had a great Masters tournament. Shout out to the Aggies and all that kind of stuff, which that hurts my mouth. It hurts me to say that.
Hey, you ain't lying.
How about this real quick? Phil fucking Mickelson.
you
What a
beat me.
comeback.
Phil
You beat me there. You beat me there. You
minus
beat me there.
8, tied for second.
You
What is he,
beat
like
me.
58?
The old lefty still
beat
has
me.
it in him.
Yeah.
You beat me to the point, right? I was gonna mention that, because I had it written in my notes. Like we talked about Koepka and how his like little fall, and then he was able to kind of muster a tie for second. But Phil Mickelson, I told you guys when I texted y'all because even Jordan Spieth had a great final round where he
Yes.
was able to get into the top 10. But Phil Mickelson, like if you go back and look, if they would have played, because they actually had a good tournament, except the third day is what killed them. The third round
Which
Yeah.
is
is what hurt them.
killed everybody.
If they would have, and of course some of that was the weather and whatnot. If they would have been playing the same golf they had the previous 2 rounds, the third round, with combination of playing how they finished, Jordan Spieth and Phil Mickelson would have been the two vying for the championship.
You
That's my
still
honest-
but what about Rom? You can't take. He's played.
So,
He played
No,
better.
I
He
agree.
played
I,
in the
no, no,
weather.
I-
he bogeyed
I-
a couple holes. He could have parred or eagled or whatever
Yeah,
compared
hey,
to
one thing,
weather.
one thing I
I
want to
agree,
bring
but
up.
the way that Mickelson and Spieth played the final round, if they would have had a
Well, you don't think what's his name would have played better at the final
No,
round?
no,
than
no,
he did too.
I'm not
He didn't
saying
play
that-
as He didn't have to play as aggressive because he was ahead by 4 strokes.
That,
but they would
but
have been in there to push him.
but also you got to think, Rom and Koepka had to play an extra round of golf the same morning as the final round.
True.
Like, that adds a toll.
Here's what's impressive
That's
with
true,
Phil too. 52 years old.
Yeah.
Hey,
52?
stop! You're just making me feel worse about my golf game. Stop it.
He's 52,
He played
and the
great.
lefty still has it.
That's a bad take by you, Joshua. You're taking
No,
away from
no.
tequila and tacos.
No,
I still
I
think
don't.
tequila and tacos wins the Masters
And
regardless.
listen, I don't want to take anything away from Rom because I think he
But
played
you are.
great.
You just
No,
did. You
are
literally
I
just
know.
did.
Wrong.
Okay, I'm about to put you on timeout.
You
I'm just
literally
saying-
just took away. You said it was going to be
D.B.A.B.
Nicholson, and you said it was going to be Spieth and Nicholson that was going to win.
And I'll stand by that because I think
You
that
crazy?
if
I
they
think
would
Rom
have
still
played.
wins this, man.
I don't know.
Because he had a. Cobbs mentioned that he had to play back to back.
I think
He played
If
back to
Rom-
back, and he played in the weather. Well,
if
Yes,
Rom
but he
was-
also
but some of those weather, he would have hit better
yes,
and
but
done
with
better
his,
in the weather compared to the other people. And
yes, but you also have to think that his pairing group, he had Kepka, I think he had Kepka and I don't know if Bennett was with him or whatever, but like towards the end of the Masters, we knew the way that those two were playing that he was going to win based on how they were playing.
yes,
I just think that with the way that Mickelson and Spieth were playing, if they were neck and neck with him, not saying, and I know I'm going to retract what I said.
he's going
I
to be
think-
playing with him. He will.
Yeah.
He would have played with him, and the
They would've-
competition would have
and
been
they-
better. But
Right.
it would have been. He would have been where with the final pairing, as you're just saying, was going to win. Well, but he's still in the pairing. You crazy, bro.
I know, but that's just me speaking hypothetical based on one round of the Masters.
One
not all
round,
four,
but it's
one
four.
round.
It's four.
No, I agree.
See, I think
It's like, come on,
think
man. It's like saying,
if Rom,
if Texas Tech played a game against Kansas in the Big 12 tournament, they'd make the Final Four and they'd be in the national championship. That's the same hypothetical BS you just said. They got
bumper
4
cars.
rounds to play consistent golf.
Okay.
Okay.
hey, bumper
Ron
cars,
played-
relax.
Ron played
I'll
4
take that.
rounds of consistent golf, not one
take
round
that.
that made him in the top 10. He played
I
4
think-
rounds of consistent golf.
I'll take that. And I mentioned that he was consistent, the best golfer all around. I'll take that.
All right. My opinion is if Rom and Kepka didn't have to play the extra round the same day, they play a lot better on their last round.
Probably.
And
There's
I
no
don't
probably
think,
about it.
and, and I don't think Spieth and Mickelson has a chance if they didn't have to play that extra round.
True. Here's my question. Just tweaking this real quick. Tiger. I loved. He's 47.
Yes.
How much longer do we think Tiger is going to go?
I think he'll play a little more. He'll play like the big tournaments. He won't play
Like-
every
like the
tournament like the
majors.
other
But
one.
I think with Tiger, with his health conditions, I don't.
It has to be perfect weather for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he'd last much longer because it was a very. Now I was pro Tiger. I didn't think that he would win the Masters, but I was rooting for him to have a good showing.
He did.
And
He made the
still,
cut.
yeah, and still he made the cut, which he tied the record. Is one of the that's I had, but like he tied the record of like 23 straight times of making it of making the cut. With all of his adversity he's gone through, I thought he had a pretty good tournament, even though he didn't play the final round because he got hurt. It was good to see him out there and play. It was a sad sight to see him move around the way he did. He just obviously it's not the same Tiger and whatnot, but not saying that he would have a chance to win. You know, I don't really think he has a big chance to win another major unless everything lines up correctly. But it was good to see
Tiger
him
makes
go out there and
golf
compete.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Tiger's in contention on Sunday, it makes you sit down and watch a golf tournament if Tiger's in contention on Sunday.
Well, it was like Phil being in contention. Everybody was pumped for that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like it's the same kind of concept, you know. Like I mean, like one day, like we're talking about
Enjoy
now about Phil and
greatness.
Tiger, but one day it's going to be, man, Spieth is back in contention when he's 45, and everybody's going to be excited, you know. Like
Yeah,
same
I don't.
with Ron, when he's 45, it's going to be the same
Yeah,
process.
but I just and nothing to those guys, but I don't think they have a draw to the sport like what Tiger does, based on what
No,
Tiger's
yeah,
done.
no, they don't. I agree.
And I don't think we're gonna get
Mickelson would be
that
the
for
next
a while.
best guy.
That type of draw, like Tiger.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think
Tiger
the
was one of those
the next
once
big
in a
thing-
generation
Yes.
type.
Next up
talents.
is Charlie, baby.
Dude, he can freaking swing it, man.
Hey, you ain't lying. That dude's impressive.
Hey, think about this,
speaking
Jack.
of that,
How old is Charlie? Like 12, 14?
yeah.
He's
How
still
old
he can outshoot all 4 of us.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
How old do you have to be to play like in like Masters? Or, like how old do you have to be to play in
Hey
like PGA
man,
Tour?
easy now. When I get a good one, I get a good one.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I don't know
Like,
the age.
hey,
but
you
I'm
swing
pretty
that
sure.
shit and try to break the cover off the ball.
That he does.
Yeah.
Because like Charlie's got to be
Par
close to
three.
be able to like be good enough to play.
Hammer it.
What's crazy is that his mannerisms are so close to.
I think you
Yeah.
have to have your pro card, right?
Yeah, but how old do you have to be is the question.
I don't know, like because like even
After college, I'm assuming like 18,
But
19.
no, but it can't be because freaking Sam Bennett is still
Look at-
enrolled in college and he played the Masters.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
but
he
he
also got- he
but he
got a
was a top
special
amateur.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah,
got-
that
he
was
got-
the
yeah,
he got a special invitation to the Masters.
true.
and like he couldn't make because he finished the top 20 because of the NCAA, the prize money he could have won making the cut. I don't think he got a dime off of that.
So what do they do with it?
I don't know. I
Good.
know I know the NIL stuff he's gonna make some money off of.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But him being an amateur, I think I read somewhere like he was not gonna see a dime
But
of
he's
him
probably
Bucks.
but he's
finishing the
based,
top 20.
but based on his performance in the Masters, he probably makes more in NIL deals than what he would in the Masters.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. He's got to, surely.
So, but anyways,
if he
like
had, if he had one good round, he might have won it. You know, in the words of Josh.
Well, hey, how crazy would that have been? Think about what
Thanks,
think about
Jack.
what Mudflaps just said. That he couldn't see a dime from it. What if he would have won the Masters? That means he wouldn't have seen a dime of that 3.4 mil.
but I think he makes more than that in deals.
Yes, he makes
NIL
more.
deals.
Man, you create the NIL deals.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think he still makes more, but how
He's not
crazy is that
making
to think the
3.9
fact
million.
that
He's making probably 6 in NILs
no,
because
I know. I'm just saying, just the
Yeah.
thought of it. Like, how crazy is that? Or okay, take NIL out of it, like it was 3 years ago. This dude wins the Masters. He don't get to see a penny of the 3.4 mil that he just won. Like, how crazy is that?
as soon as he graduates, he's a pro and he's like Jordan Spieth.
No, I
Yeah,
agree,
he's
but I'm just saying, it's
pro
just
and
the
he's
thought,
making
like,
money. all the
Yeah.
time.
like thought without all the extra stuff, like just the thought of the
So-
moment. Like that's
No,
crazy.
no, I-
that they
no,
do
I-
that.
Cody,
I agree.
to answer your question, you got, and this doesn't give a good answer. You have to be a top 50 player in the world to get your PGA Tour card. So
That's-
you can get that at 19, you can get that at 30, but you have to be a top 50 player in the world to
Yeah,
get your
which I think
PGA Tour card.
Sam
Which
Bennett will be a top 50
I'm probably
player,
like
so.
top.
Oh yeah,
billion.
Charlie's gonna get it when he's like
and break the
19.
windows.
I'm top billion.
Hey,
But you
Hey.
dress like Tiger, son.
hey,
Yeah,
old,
hey,
hey, old Zach's over
Hey,
here.
you dress good, you feel good, you play
Shitty.
good.
Hey,
I'll
old
take-
Jack's
I'll
over
take-
here.
I'll take top
He's a
billion.
top 5 at breaking windows.
Stop it. I've
I'll-
broken
I'll-
a window at almost every course I played at. I will say
Hey,
that.
I'll-
I said you're top
Not
5.
a rock wall.
Hey, listen, I'll take top billion because that means I'm better than 6 billion or 7 billion people. I'll
I
take
like
top
it.
billion, okay?
I like it.
I'll take that. I'll let
Which
the
those other ones are probably dead or deceased.
or they
Oh,
never
man.
they don't know what golf is. So that's okay. That'll be better. But anyways, overall, the Masters was a great show. Again, congratulations to John Rahm.
My
great
hero,
showing.
my spirit animal.
Jack,
John Rahm,
that's
baby.
Jack's spirit animal.
Tequila and
Great to
tacos.
watch.
And he's,
Great to watch.
and he's friends with JJ Watt. Who doesn't love JJ Watt?
And Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how about that freaking
And he's an
message? You already
Arizonian.
said that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It was great overall, even with all the weather adversity. It was the first time.
I really
Weather
wish they would have Happy
affected.
Gilmore those trees though.
Yeah, it was the first time. I think since 2005 or 7 where weather really affected the Masters. So it's been a minute, but those guys are pros, so they were able to adjust, most of them, and they played really good quality golf. And of course, the Masters is always a great thing to watch. In
Hey,
general.
one thing we're not saying. We're not giving credit to the grounds crew out there, man. The fact
For
that
real.
course looked like it had no rainwater on it after 2
Hey,
inches
man.
of rain is impressive.
Augusta looked pristine.
Always does.
Oh,
Always
that's a big
does.
word for
After
you.
2 inches of rain.
Always does.
That's a big word for you.
Yeah.
That's my college word of the day. That's my
All
SAT.
right.
That's my
Spell
SAT
it.
word of the day.
Hey, can you spell it, please?
Spell
Pristine. PFU.
I love
All
it.
right, so great. Again, Masters was great, and now we got to drop down in topics, going from the Masters, the high of the Masters, to now.
The tanking.
Well, before we get there, to the low of the NBA playoffs, and right now they are in the midst of the play-in games, which we discussed a little bit before we started recording. I think Jack and I are in the same agreement. I had this conversation earlier with another coach here at my school, but I feel like the play-in system is an absolute joke. Um, I know the Heat lost last night, upset, if you will, to the Hawks, but it was crazy. I thought going into it, like, because I didn't had done my homework properly, but like I thought in the playoff game it was similar to like a wild card.
No, it's not.
Was that they lost, their season was done, but then next thing you know they're
Well, they
like,
do
oh, they have a
last
chance
night's games
Friday.
too. Last night's games too. So last night's Lakers and Timberwolves and Heat and Hawks all were higher seeding,
Right.
so they get two chances,
Yes.
while the other lower seeds get one chance.
Yeah,
Which
which
to
for me
me, I
was
was talking about
crazy.
today, which it should just
It's
be
stupid.
wild card. You in, you make
Yes.
wild card, you
No,
in, you lose, you
I
need to play for the
I
spot.
I
By the way,
I
did you
agree.
just see the Grizzlies are like a slight favorite?
Slight, you know who? Yeah, I can see why.
Because I know because of one guy, but
two guys,
slight favorite. Which I was honestly surprised on that
Yeah,
the Grizzlies were a slight betting favorite.
well,
But
they
here's my thing. Did the NBA need to go to a playing game?
I think so. I
And,
I think in the
care.
West, you do because you're. I think this might be the first time a 7 seed, besides when the Mavericks blew it.
And we lost Jack.
And we lost that.
Here you go. Hepatitis. See you later.
But again,
That
like,
dang internet in Terrell is not
yeah,
very
probably.
good.
Yeah, but
Hey,
again,
man.
before when Jack comes back here in a second, like the playoffs is a funny deal with how it works out with it's the uh
Yeah, he
There he
goes.
is.
7th and 8th seed. Hold up, here it comes back. All right, Jack.
Hey, you're back.
What I was saying anyway is I think this is like the first time in the West. Shut the hell up. The first time in the West that a 17 could beat a 2 seed. Like you said, Grizzlies are slight favorites against the number 7 seed Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time in the West that's happened in a really long time, besides when the Mavericks blew it against the Warriors or Trailblazers. The West is like wide open. Like anybody in the West can literally come out, but I think the East is more dominant. But we're not talking about that stuff right now. But
Yeah, I agree. I
think the playing is a joke to that extent. I think it should be like, okay, play. Like these two teams, these 4 teams made it. They're different. They're lower seeds than the original 6. They play for the spot. The winner gets this spot. The winner gets this spot. Or if anything, win, in, lose, out. The winners play again for another 1 spot. You know what I'm saying?
It's just I don't know. Last night I was a little bit like confused and like because like the Hawks in the Heat played and Miami was 7, the Hawks were 8, the Hawks won, and then now Miami gets one more chance to do it to get in. Like it just part of it was I didn't know the whole rules to the whole. I just thought it was like a one and done situation. So like I thought it was kind of silly, but it does get opportunities because like that 10th seed, on both sides in theory, could win, and next thing you know they're playing a number 1 seed, and we never know. I mean, they could make it a series, they could win the series. You're just talking about 2 versus 7, or whoever gets in that 7th seed. You know, um, like in the East, it's the Hawks. They'll play the Celtics, and in the West, the Lakers got the Grizzlies. So you never know. Um, it's just weird. But it does give them opportunities. I know, and I'm gonna talk about little soccer a little bit, but like in the English league, the division. I know the division below.
Soccer.
I know it's a similar concept, but it actually.
Make Ryan Reynolds in the Premier League. That's all I got to say.
Hey, soccer talk.
You know what? Fuck it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Soccer talk and my basketball talk is about the same. 0.
Hey,
Fine it. Never mind. I don't want to go there. We won't talk
Football?
about it. Never mind. Never mind.
Josh,
Don't they ask?
I appreciate your take on soccer.
Wait,
We
football?
won't talk about how the rest of the world has a promotion and relegation because we don't have that here. But anyways,
Football?
Football?
Don't they ask football?
So why you brought this topic? Why we brought this topic in, Josh?
well, the only thing I was gonna say, and it might actually work
Make
its way around.
it make sense. Make it short
Okay,
and
and
sweet.
it actually might work its way into making the playoff make sense. But I'll use the English soccer league as an example. Okay, so they have different divisions, right? So they got the top league, they got the second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way down. Okay. Well, at the top league, the bottom 3 teams get relegated to the next division, which there's been talk about that here in the States for our leagues and especially our soccer leagues or whatever. Um, But that second league, how they have it structured is that the top 2 teams get automatic promotion to the league above as their reward for finishing first and second. And then 3 through 3, 4th, 5th, and 6th have promotion playoffs, which is kind of similar to the NBA play-in.
You know who's thinking about doing that? As you're speaking of it, the NBA with G leagues. But anyway, continue.
So
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. The relegation promotion stuff is I've heard been talking about whatever, but like I don't know, it's the same concept in the NBA with the play-in. It just felt weird from an NBA perspective that they had that.
quick
I don't know.
quick question, Josh. Is that to prevent tanking? Like the relegation
Oh,
stuff?
way to bring it in. Look at that.
That's, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
is,
it
it,
is.
is that the
Absolutely.
the whole idea is like to prevent teams from just saying, "F it, we can't win, so we're just going to make our fans suck
Yes, because
and suffer through this crap."
like, and I'll use Europe because Europe uses all the same formula with their leagues and stuff like that, with their top, second, third division stuff like that. But like, there's no drafting in those leagues. Everything's free agent based. So like year in and year out, people can like, if you got the money, you can go sign people. Even if they've just signed a 5-year contract, the next year you can go buy them out of that. You can go buy them at a certain price
Ca-
and move them to your team. So like, there's no like, there's no drafting, so there's no motivation for teams to tank to get the number 1 pick, if that makes sense, like we have here.
Because I
And
saw
Is there
something where like Ryan Reynolds, that the team
uh
he owns,
yeah,
like they're really close to like playing
but-
like to play into to try to get into the Premier League.
yeah. So like a couple things here. So, like his team, they're
Way
at
to go,
like
Clete.
they're a
I
couple
got you, bro.
they're a couple divisions below, so they're gonna have to work their way up. That's like if they were, I don't, not like a semi-pro team here in the league in the states, but they would
They're
be
like
like,
Division Two, having to work their way up to Division One.
yeah. So they would have
Football.
So they'd have to work their way up. Like I don't
See,
remember
I got
offhand
you.
what league they're in, but they would have to
Football.
win. They'd have to win promotion, and then in the next league they'd be the step up, win promotion there. They'd have to work their way up to get to the big boy league. Now the thing about the big boy league is that that's where all the money's at. So teams are really, really motivated to stay. Like for example, in the English Premier League, they're really motivated to stay there because that's where all the money's at. And
Is that
out of
because of
all,
like TV contracts?
yes, and it's similar to the SEC and the Big Ten nowadays in college football and stuff, and NFL with their contract. But the Premier League is literally the highest paid like TV rights deal in all the world. So
Is there a
teams,
salary cap?
no salary cap.
Huh,
So
interesting.
It's like
so
the Yankees
teams,
when they used to cheat.
okay.
They didn't
Uh,
cheat. They played the system.
So
They
anyway,
did. They had all the money
so
Old man
teams,
Steinbrenner did not give a crap.
no, he
at
did not.
all.
He wanted to win, baby. And they don't have that for anyway, so teams are motivated to stay in the Premier League because they make so much more money, which
Mhm.
allows them to go spend. Now, nowadays, they spend outrageous sums to go buy players. It's kind of similar to free agency nowadays, how it's inflated when people sign contracts. So it's the same ordeal
Daniel
there
Jones.
with, yeah, so it's the same thing over there with people nowadays having inflated transfer fees to move from club to club. Well, they're able to do that in the Premier League because they get so much money from media rights and stuff like that and being in that league. So when they get relegated to the championship, which is their second division, they lose that finance part of it. Now they get they have a parachute for those teams that get relegated to help them out. But a lot of teams, if they don't have their finances in order, get in trouble because they spend at the big boy level, then they get demoted, and now they have these guys on super big contracts.
And they
but at
can't
their
afford
division,
to keep them.
They can't do it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So you're like gambling, basically.
in a way. Yeah,
So,
So the-
no, the easy way, just win, baby.
and that's the
You
thing.
win.
But it's tough.
Swing that
Obviously,
shit.
it's tough, just like in any league. It's tough.
Swing that
Whatever,
foot.
but anyways,
Swing
that's it.
that
So
foot.
that's the NBA. That's the NBA playoffs, right? Like tonight, there's the Bulls versus the Raptors, and the Thunder versus the Pelicans, and the 9 and 10 seeds,
Go Thunder.
and the spots. And then the winners of both of those games will play the Heat and T Wolves for a spot at the final 8 seed. So basically, whoever wins tonight will have one more opportunity, and both of those teams, what they're vying for is to win a seed. Which either if they're coming out of the West, they will be playing the Nuggets. If they're coming out of the East, they will play the Bucks. So not an easy road, but still an opportunity for them to continue their playoff journey, whatnot. But the next thing we're going to talk about is tanking, and I know Jack is really adamant that he wants to talk about this. So Jack, the floor is yours, and get
It's
us rolling
stupid.
here on tanking.
It's stupid. You want to be an organization that wins. You want to be an organization that literally makes trades mid-year to be a competitor, a contender or pretender, and then you make these trades and do this, and you become a pretender. And you
Talking from
tank.
experience.
Shut up.
Man.
And so, I mean, like a perfect. I mean, I'm a Mavs fan. Shout out Mavs. But what you just did is an absolute joke. First off, you were picked before at this trade. You so-called man. We talked about the Kyrie trade. At this trade, you were picked to be a Finals favorite. As the year went on, you lost 17 out of 22 games or whatever it was in this span. Then you come down, you got a chance to be in the play-in game. You play your superstar one quarter, and you sit your other starters, and you basically say, "Tank, I'm done. I ain't gonna try to make the play-in." For whatever reason, you let a team that has more draft picks than you have a chance in the play-in games before you. And my point exactly is the Thunder have more draft picks than anybody in the NBA. And guess what? They're in a play-in game tonight. And guess where most other NBA teams are? Watching a team that can be built and get higher draft seeding and get better quality players because now they're in playoffs. So you're telling playoffs? Come on, tanking is a joke to me. I know people do it just for draft picks and lottery picks and all that stuff, but it's a joke because first off, as a fan of the game, a great Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, said one thing and one thing only. One family can pay so much money to see me play, and I got to give me my best effort to play. Well, I went to a game Sunday. I took a group of kids to a basketball game, the Mavs and Spurs. Well, the Spurs probably had most of their starters. They're young and they were competitive. And the Mavs they basically looked like their G team or players that weren't going to be on the team. Some kids were in that stadium. That might have been their first experience at an NBA basketball game. Correct?
Their only experience.
It might be their only one in their lifetime they get to experience a Mavericks basketball game. And you literally had your guys that aren't going to be on the team anymore or guys that never got to see minutes, and you tank for people like that. I always respect Kobe for this. He always said that might be someone's first game getting to watch me play, and they paid their hard-earned money to watch me play. And you literally had your superstar. There was maybe, I think Kyrie and all those guys, I don't think Kyrie was there, but I saw them all there on the bench supporting their teammates and whatnot. But you tanked to a chance to be in a play-in. Isn't that what most teams ask for? Is like, as a coach, aren't you asking to have a chance at the end of the year to be in moments like where you can move on? Isn't that what you ask for as a coach? I think.
Amen.
And tanking, that's a joke to me because you have a chance to be in the playoffs right now. And if you lose, cool. We're happy you gave it your all and you try to win, but you lose. That's fine. It's better than tanking, resting your players 2 hours before tip-off. That's a joke.
I agree. And I feel like the NBA.
What do you got to say, Cobbs? Get me fired up. What you got?
I don't watch enough basketball really to have much takes. I'm in the Clete boat over here. Like I don't watch enough basketball to really like.
But baseball happens all the time
baseball
too.
Happens.
Yes, it does happen all the time. So my question is, so they like, and Jack will probably answer this more than I will. Like I don't even know, but they said something, or at least I saw something about they were investigating the Mavs for that.
Yes,
like, what are they going to do? Is my question. Like, what is like the
they can literally make them lose their draft pick.
Oh, really?
Yes. The NBA has came out and made it where they can do that. They can literally fine you, which they fined Mark Cuban, or they can literally take your draft pick away and give it to somebody else.
Right.
They can literally do that. Exactly. And, that's who they'll give it to.
Yeah.
The team in the play-in.
Yeah.
Okay,
my second question is, tell me I'm wrong, but I heard, I don't know, I was listening to a podcast or I was listening to something, I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard that the Mavs did the tanking, obviously, for a 4% chance at a top 10 pick or whatever. Like 4%? Like what the hell are we talking about?
They have a protected top 10 pick for a trade, but the 4% would be whether they can get like the top pick out of it.
Like we're talking about tanking for a 4% chance. Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard when I heard that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was really bonkers that they had a chance to, like what Jack was alluding to, getting to a position or an opportunity to continue their season with the playing game and then possibly get into the playoffs. Because, like Jack said, the West is
Open.
open, especially the Mavs had a good enough squad to at least compete. It's not like they would be swept by
Yes.
anybody, but they would compete. But for them to go out and do that in games, like it makes sense that if they didn't really have a chance at a play-in or a chance at the playoffs, it would kind of make sense for them to be like, all right, hey, no, you know what, we're gonna tuck our tail between our legs and kind of just whimper through the season. But it was just really, really, really
Obvious.
weird and
Obvious.
obvious that they were giving up on the season and just like, hey,
Right.
we're just gonna ride it to the draft, try to do everything we can to get better players around Luca and stuff and make him happy so that he
This,
doesn't leave us. But I
this is
feel
going to
like
lead into the conversation we just had.
this could possibly
Uh,
backfire for the Mavs.
Yes.
Ch-
To lead into the conversation we just had, what does that show the younger generation of athletes?
It's okay to quit.
Exactly.
Mm.
And what
So-
are we battling right now as coaches? Kids that want to
Right.
quit when things get
See,
hard.
I was watching, and I know Colin Cowherd's a blowhard, and his takes are sometimes the most asinine. That's my other college word of the day, by the way.
Yeah, big word.
So, big word.
Spell
So, but he made a decent point. It was about 10 years ago, and I still remember this for some reason. I don't know why this like stuck in my head. In sports, where's the worst place you can be? Is average 8-8 in the NFL, right? Because you're not going to get the top dogs, so you're not good enough to play with the top dogs, but you're good enough not to get a top 10 pick that could change your franchise. You know, that's kind of where he was coming from, and like, I'll be, you know, I am an Astro fan. But from 2005, 2006 to 2013, 2014, the Houston Astros were awful to watch. Like, as a fan, they were awful. Like, it was hard to watch the Houston Astros as a fan of that team from 06 to 14. Like, it was really, really hard to watch them because they were so bad. You know, the Titans from like, I would say like 07 to like 10,
After the
14,
Music
they were
City
awful.
Miracle. After the Music City Miracle.
Yeah, they were awful.
What are you talking about?
You
They're still
know,
bad.
Yeah, that's beside the that's where I'm getting. I bet they're fucking tanking too. Shit, I would. But my point is this: sometimes teams have to tank in order to get those players to draft those players that help change a franchise. But again, the example I have is the Astros.
Yes, but
You
a
know-
4% chance right now.
Right, but I understand.
I understand your point.
Like I
understand.
get what, and like with like the Spurs, the only reason they got Tim Duncan is because David Robinson got hurt that same year of the draft. If Robinson doesn't get hurt, the Spurs don't get Tim Duncan. The
Yes.
Boston
And
Celtics probably do.
But they're not going to tank.
But they didn't tank. He got hurt.
Yeah. It's
Oh
not,
yeah,
It's not a
and
tank.
I get what I understand.
Right.
But my point was, and my point is like it's almost better to be bad than average in sports.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
But they're not. That wasn't even like they were picked. Like I said, they were picked to win
right.
finals, and then obviously at the end of the year you tank. I'm not talking about tanking like that. I understand what you mean to get better draft picks, but where we're talking, I can
You have
get
an opportunity to go do something pretty cool,
Yes.
and you decide, you know what, it's not worth it.
yes. I get what
That
you're
yeah, I agree with
saying.
that. That would I have a
People tank all the
problem
time.
with.
Like I understand. Like the last week of the year ended up changing some draft picks for the NFL this year. Some team beating this team because this team beat this team. They got a different higher draft pick. Josh,
What's
can
it
you
like the
clarify
Texans,
that?
right?
I don't know who it is, but I know
Texans or Browns or
whoever's
something
higher
like that.
in a trade, whoever got higher, who beat who, got a
Yeah, I know
draft pick.
from the NFL experience of the effing Rams with their trade with the Lions.
Rams.
The Lions kept pulling all the Lions kept cheering every time the Rams lost because it helped their cause with the picks that the Rams gave up. But we digress. We digress. Anyway, so we all know that we're not a fan of tanking. I think it's a little bit different scenario when your major star gets hurt because you can even throw in the example of the Patriots with Drew Bledsoe. If Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, and Tom Brady never comes into the picture, gets drafted or anything like
But
that.
he wasn't a high draft pick.
No,
But
I know that. I know that. I know that. But okay, again, stupid
Hey,
take
Josh
here.
is full of that.
it's because you were making fun of Adam's podcast.
Yeah, I know.
You
shout
got a
out
whole
to AC
bowl of
Squared.
them tonight, man.
I
You're
know,
just
I'm-
letting them all hang out. You're swinging it, baby.
I know. I feel like Adam with bad takes right now.
You're 0-2 at the batter's box right now.
I know. It is kind of funny
You can hit a
because
home run or
Guess
get walked.
what? If you get a hit,
yeah,
that's a pretty good day.
Damn right it is.
yeah, a good
300
batting.
is a good batting average.
Yeah, and
The hell of
three-
batting average at this point.
3 out of 10 is not good. It is funny because speaking of their podcast, AC Squared. So shout out to them.
Good
I think it was Cody. Shout out to Cody, good dude. He had made one of his takes was that. Now, part of it was true that Mickelson, and he said also Justin Thomas would finish in the top 10 or something like that. Justin Thomas didn't make the cut.
But
that
speaking,
part of it.
we'll go back to that here in a second.
But he did make a pretty good take with Phil Mickelson and whatnot. And they all basically, I think they all basically said that wrong. That's a pretty good take there. But I digress. Like we said, this is our lights, camera, action. Get ready for worst sports takes. And apparently, I'm wearing that cone of shame right now with bad sports takes. But the thing I was trying to get across was that major injuries to your star players, like that's different compared to a team decides to tank because it happens in the NFL quite a bit when teams decide to tank for the first round pick.
To me, it happens in the NFL and Major League Baseball more than the NBA or the NHL.
Yeah.
It just seems like it.
Shout out.
Right.
Playoff hockey's around the corner, boys.
Oh,
But I
hell
also
yeah.
think-
Get your beards ready. Playoff beards.
But I also think he's already got his butt flaps on, so he's good.
I'm almost there. I'm getting there.
I also think you're dealing with a different clientele too, because
How so?
hockey players way more tough,
Oh, there's no doubt.
and they play. I don't know how many games the hockey players play. Hockey
80.
teams play
Was it 80 something? 83? No.
90 something.
90 something.
90?
So
Oh,
so you're close to baseball and basketball. I guess what's basketball play?
Basketball plays 82.
Like you don't see. Like I guess what I'm getting at is you don't see a bunch of like in hockey. You don't see a bunch of prima donnas and flopping and all that other BS like you do in baseball and
Hockey plays 83.
NBA.
82 in hockey.
Yeah.
Right, you see a lot more tougher dudes that want to be out there and they want to grind. They don't care. They're just freaking there. I mean, half of them don't have damn teeth.
Yeah. Better than some of us.
Those are the special ones.
They are.
But shout out in hockey in NHL. Shout out to Jack. Help me out here. Who is the team that has the most wins?
Bruins. Boston
Shout out-
Bruins, baby.
Shout out to the Boston Bruins. They now have the
They are
sole
the most
record for
we-
most wins in a season and most points acquired in a season.
That's
So shout
awesome.
out
I hope
to
they
the
choke. They'll be freaking epic.
Stop it, man. You can't win.
Oh, I
Unless-
can't.
unless they choke
Go-
to the
go
Stars,
Stars.
baby.
If the star, if they want, yeah,
Go
exactly.
Stars.
Go
They're
bring home the
definitely-
cup.
Definitely
Bring
the
it.
hottest team in hockey. It's just like the Rays right now, the hottest team in baseball.
Dude, they just,
Bring
hey,
it
they just
12 and
clinched.
0.
Hey, I think they just clinched 12 and 0. By the way,
They did.
And they are absolutely dominating people right now.
yeah, they are.
No shout out to the
Rays.
Rays. Okay, but
Hey, man. But playoff
Yeah,
hockey
they're
is
12 and 0.
like
yeah, playoff hockey is
different. If you're not a fan of hockey, I recommend watching playoff hockey. I love playoff hockey.
Are y'all
I
going
even-
to
I even-
game?
I'm planning on it, big dog. I don't
and
know
that's
if
the
it's
one
game
thing. Like I
2.
know this guy down here has been to several games.
Oh yeah, hockey.
I don't know about Clete, but I know Cubs now. We've never
I've
been
been in
to
a
a
minor
monkey
league
game
game.
line.
That's about it.
Okay, so Clete, Cubs, and I have never been to an NHL game live, and that's the
Can we
one
go?
thing on our bucket list that we really want to go to.
Yes,
so
I wanna go so bad.
If I get an opportunity, I'm going to an NHL game to see it live. I'm sure, just like every other sport, it is way better live than watching it.
Oh, hockey! The
Hey,
energy in an arena, hockey.
When's the Stanley Cup? Like what?
it starts Monday. The
No,
playoff.
no. What? Like, is it June, July?
I
When
think
do
it's
they
similar
play
to
the
like
Stanley
NBA
Cup?
finals.
Like May, June. I remember the year they were in the bubble, and the Stars were in the Stanley Cup. Then,
Oh, I do too. Got
and
screwed.
They got screwed. That was a ghost call. Like the call it's like they like to screw Dallas teams against teams that are in that coastline.
Yeah, they do. Poor Dallas. Dallas gets screwed in everything. It was a catch. all that.
It was a
I mean,
catch.
we don't want to bring that up.
It was
It was
kinda
still a
caught it.
catch.
They were
Yes,
calling
kinda
ghost
caught it.
fouls for Dwayne Wade in the NBA Finals.
Hey, but they came back and won, so they got karma there. But anyways, the last thing that we'll talk about tonight, changing gears a little bit. This could also apply to every major professional sports league in the United States. But it got brought about for the major league was the talk of expansion.
Yeah.
And Jack alluded to it in our group message. He was the one that shared the article about the MLB and the possible expansion moves there. And some of the cities that were mentioned were Nashville, Portland, of course, Las Vegas, which is becoming a hot city for teams to move to. Obviously, most
I don't like
recently for
I
the
don't like
Raiders.
Nashville.
Yeah, most recently with the
Salt
Vegas
Lake City.
was moving was like the Raiders moving to Las Vegas there, and then of course, last but not least, Salt Lake City. So, there's always talk about expansion and the cities that vie for it and whatnot. But if we can focus this on MLB in terms of the cities, we can broaden it out to
Well,
every sports league or whatever. But what's our take here? What do we feel about expansion? What
I
cities
like
would you like
I
to
like
see?
expansion just for the sports in general, and I
Right.
especially love it for baseball because baseball doesn't get the same publicity like the Vegas Raiders just got huge in Vegas. Well,
Right.
you have the Vegas Knights, the hockey team is
Yeah, they
huge in
got
Vegas. And I would say put a Vegas team or move a team to Vegas, which we all know moving's a different thing, but I think expanding the MLB
it's 120 in the summertime in Vegas.
oh, I know.
Yeah, but
Home
they'll
indoors.
build a
F
dome.
that crap.
They'll
They'll
build
build
it
a
inside.
dome, just like Toronto.
Yeah,
That's
they'll
true.
play inside. Like
Okay, so okay, so let's go.
Here's my the teams that have a problem with it, like Oak, like
Hey, the ball
you said,
bearing has something to
Oakland.
say.
Anyways, go ahead, Clete. Go ahead. You're like my damn students in class. Just keep talking when I'm talking. Go ahead.
I am the captain now.
Go ahead, Clete. What were you saying about Oakland?
Well, I know that in the article mentioned like the A's moving, right? Possibly.
Right.
yes.
And like it's like and you mentioned like the Rams moving to LA from St. Louis. Why? Because people aren't going to the damn game.
And
Have you
city
seen an
doesn't take
Oakland
care of
A's? Have you seen an Oakland A's game recently? They're not
Yeah,
very
they're trash.
good. They're not very good. You could probably buy a ticket for like $5.
You probably got like 50 people in the stands.
Right. So if people have a problem with the A's moving, go to the fucking game. Support the team.
That and the city needs to support the team because that was one of the reasons why the Rams left St. Louis is because the city wouldn't update the stadium.
That's why the Chargers left too.
And that's why XFL St. Louis Blackhawks is out there, if that's what they're called, are leaving St. Louis too. Sorry, sir.
Is that why the Thunder or the Sonics left to be the Thunder because Seattle wouldn't build a new arena?
Yeah, it was kind of that, but Oklahoma was a big market at the time. It's kind of like they say they need an NFL team in San Antonio, which they don't.
No.
Don't build a team in San
That
Antonio.
market can't.
It'll be like Houston. The Houston Reliant State NRG Stadium is in a terrible location.
Yeah, it's by the dome.
Yeah, it's like
it's awful.
It's terrible to get to. Terrible parking. Terrible everything.
Yeah, so it's expensive. So like I think like perfect cities would be like think about Salt Lake City. Well, what's in Salt Lake City? I heard Utah is a very beautiful place to visit, but I've never been, so I can't say nothing. But they say it's a good place to visit in the summertime. Well, put a baseball team.
Baseball happened. Portland
would be a good one too because Oregon.
So let's talk about it like this. So so like some of the cities I named off, and let's just talk about it from a broad aspect because some cities have teams and some don't. So like we can say Nashville could use an MLB team or an NFL team, but they have NHL.
They have an NFL and NHL team,
and they have a minor league baseball
feel
the NHL team better than the NFL team.
They have Vanderbilt.
They have a minor league baseball team.
Okay, so I know they got hockey. So could they support having another professional franchise there? Possibly.
I think they could,
so
but they're like this. They're like this. It's literally on top of each other. It could, if it really wanted to. Nashville could support another team, a major league
But
team,
Yep.
you would almost have to
city.
build it outside the city, right?
Or
like
you'd
the
have
stadium.
to, or right after you get done with the new stadium that the Tennessee Titans are building, you can literally build it in that same kind of area, but then you lose parking. That if you've ever been to Nashville, it's a cool city.
Never have.
It's a great city.
It's a fun place.
It has so much to do in that one little area. It's a great little area, but you could really host an MLB team if you wanted to, because you have where the Predators play, and then down the road you have where the Titans play. But then you'd have to put a baseball stadium right in the same area. If not, it wouldn't get any money.
Yeah,
I would say that for sure, that they wouldn't get anything, because Nashville, to me, it already has a bunch of stuff there, and it would be a good place to have an MLB team. But you'd have to do some remodeling and rebuilding, and that city is the crane capital of the world right now with building and this. I think it could, to be honest, but it has so much there with it already.
Right. And like you said, there's a lot to do. So if the team's not very good,
Yes.
the stadium's going to be empty, and you're going to have the same issue you have like in Oakland.
Yes.
right.
Is not hardly anyone go, or like the Marlins, Miami. There's a lot to do in Miami, and if the Marlins are not very good,
Yeah.
no one's going to the freaking game.
Yeah, but have you ever been out there?
Never have.
So I went on my bachelor party, and where that stadium is terrible location.
Yeah, that's
Like-
it's not in a good spot.
No, like they
not-
told
it's
us,
not
like we
like
went,
that,
like we went to a game, like I said, when I was on my bachelor party, and we were fishing, we were deep sea fishing that day, and the guy told us, he was like, "What are y'all doing today?" We're like, "Oh, we're going to a baseball game." He was like, "Don't go alone." He's like, "Make sure every one of y'all walk together and stay together, because like, dude, you're walking past nothing but like trap houses the whole way to the stadium from parking lot."
Hell yeah, that's what I'm
Like
talking about.
dude, it's bad. Like it's a bad place. Now the stadium on the inside is freaking beautiful, but it's a terrible place.
They should have never
It's
built
not.
it there because they took down the old Orange Bowl to put it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, that's also a big thing, that when you're building a new a franchise, new expansion team, it's valuable where you put it. Like the Vegas Knights are literally in a good area when they built Vegas Knights, and I know Seattle put theirs in a good spot. So now they're like, now we can host a basketball team if we wanted. I know they're in talks with Seattle, building coming back to Supersonics or another team coming back to Seattle because of the reason, because the Kraken have been killing it. That first year they've been here in 2 years, and now they're in the playoffs.
Dude.
Shout out Krakens. But like Petco San Diego, I don't know. I think the stadium where
legit.
San Diego used to be is terrible location, but where Petco is legit.
Yeah.
And like now, Texas fans, where the Rangers ballpark is, it's literally prime real estate, because it's right there, Cowboys Stadium. You got the new Globe Life, you got the old
but
Choctaw,
the good thing for the
Live, and it built all around
Yeah.
it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
well, the nice thing about the Rangers is that both ballparks are actually really nice ballparks.
but one was really hot in the summer. And
because it's on the dome.
And I'll
Dude,
say
it was hot the
they're
other day. I
both really
went
good.
and went door. Hey, the roof was open. Hell, we were dying in freaking right field.
Talk about location. I think Minute Maid suck. The Minute Maid location sucks.
Yes,
But
it's almost like
Houston-
NRG.
Houston is awful. Anyway, let me ask you this: OKC, could they support?
oh yes.
baseball,
Yeah,
an
Let me
MLB
tell you,
team?
OKC is a lit city. I went to the Thunder game when they had Kevin Durant against the Mavericks a couple years
Mhm.
ago, and that city was booming.
I
I know they have a minor league team that in Bricktown. They have like a little area. It's kind of like the Riverwalk, man-made Riverwalk, and I think Oklahoma City could really use an expansion team for baseball. But I think they had the Dodgers, Oklahoma City Dodgers or whatever, that real big, and they host a bunch of baseball stuff there. But it's in a good spot. Oh, the Thunder
I
are.
think so too. I think so. I think they could be able to be successful to have more than one professional sports team there. I think Vegas. I feel like Vegas is always the hot name when it comes to relocation. Because
Well, just so much money in that town.
right, and I think that they would be able to host more than one. Obviously they got the Raiders now, they got the Golden Knights, but I think that they would be able to comfortably hold an NBA franchise or an MLB franchise. I think the same for Portland. Could do the same because I think Portland does a really good job of supporting the Trailblazers. I think that they would be able to host and do really well with having their own MLB team or NFL
Could
team?
I'm one. I'm really
could
one. I'm really
could New
interested in.
Orleans?
New Orleans couldn't. Yeah,
They
they
ain't
could.
gonna know where to put. Dude, they ain't gonna know where to put it. It's trash.
That's true.
Hey, easy about New Orleans. It's
No,
it's
like no,
one of
I'm
the
not
best
saying like
cities in
I'm saying
America.
it's dirty. Okay,
Shout out
sorry,
New
it's a
Orleans.
dirty place.
Shout out New Orleans. It's one of the
I
best.
love New Orleans. Like New Orleans is fun, but it's
It's
dirty.
cool. Nashville's
Like,
a cleaner New Orleans, but New Orleans is
Yes.
where it's at. New Orleans is probably one of the coolest cities in
But
America.
I don't think they could support. I don't think they can support
Well,
a team.
you know where the Pelicans and Saints play way out from everything else. They're not close to Bourbon Street and any of that. So if you put it out there, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean
Yeah.
they'll get the fans in the support. But the one I'm really interested in, if you read that article, is about the Utah, Salt Lake City. So
Yeah, I think that's a place.
it's the same city. It's the same owners of the Jazz that are trying to buy the expansion team for MLB.
Yeah.
Well, tough acting's an acting. The Jazz have been successful. They're building something, and then you build a baseball team. It's kind of cool. And I know Salt Lake City is probably one of the cool cities. I've never been, but I heard it's a happening place, and I think that was onto something. That was like the big headline was like Salt Lake City. Well, cool, do it. I mean, baseball needs some loving in those cities. What's a big baseball team in that part of the country,
We're in Salt Lake City.
in that area?
I would say
middle part of the
Dodgers.
That's
Dodgers.
That's the closest one.
Rockies.
Colorado, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And
like
by
geographically,
the
it'd
way,
be a
with
good
the Rockies,
spot. To
It's
put
the
it.
Rockies or the
in the way.
Dodgers. I think are the two in Phoenix.
Yes.
The Diamondbacks are like the three kind of closest ones to
Yeah,
them.
well, you don't have anything in that part. Baltimore, Orioles. I mean, Toronto.
What about Charlotte, North Carolina? But you're taking away from like the Braves in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
know. They're trying
I
to sell.
think-
They're trying to sell the Hornets, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. They're struggling with it. Hell, they're struggling with the Panthers trying to sell that. The Panthers aren't very good, which doesn't help any.
Michael Jordan played baseball. He'll buy a team and get him there.
No,
That's very true.
To sell the Hornets, brother. He ain't gonna buy a baseball team in Charlotte.
That's,
Maybe
it's
that's what
always
he's doing. He's selling the Hornets to get the baseball team.
Stop it.
Never
Yeah, it's
know.
always-
Could happen.
yeah.
Stop
It's always kind of fun to talk about the possibility of expansions and which cities.
Just don't put one in Texas, please.
Yeah,
No, I
We
think
got two of them.
you know honestly, I
Yeah.
think Texas has way more than enough. They got obviously they got the Rangers and Astros, so we got baseball covered. We got
The Stars.
Got the
get
Stars.
you one.
We just need stars. That's it.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They have the Texans and Cowboys. They
Good.
have the Mavericks, Rockets, Spurs. Like I think we have more than enough professional teams.
Mhm.
They even have
And-
soccer.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think San Antonio could support another major.
Well, like how are the Brahmas doing in XFL? Would be a
Yeah,
perfect.
I don't
example.
know.
No, but I think that's a top level. Like they got the Spurs, but I think something like the XFL or like G League, I think that's perfect second team for a city like San Antonio.
Right.
No, nothing.
Like,
No knock on
like
San
it's-
Antonio. I love San
No,
Antonio.
yeah, just I don't
They
think
could
it's
start like a
big
minor
enough
league team.
to-
It'd be good for them.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
Nah, man.
I
They
mean,
got
have the mi- they have the
got
missions.
Oh, they do have the missions. Damn, I
Oh
always
my
forget they're down
God!
there.
What are?
I always forget
What?
they're there because they're
Holy
irrelevant.
crap!
Really.
They're the Padres, man. They're the
Yeah,
Yeah,
Padres.
they're irrelevant. Exactly.
Yeah. But anyways,
Well, even
They allow cheaters. They allow
people-
cheaters to go hit home runs in the
You're
minor
not
leagues.
full one in Round Rock either.
No.
They could with Dale Diamond.
Don't.
No, they could though.
Yes.
They could.
No. They
Not saying
just
they
add-
need to, but they could.
They just add on to that stadium.
Yeah, I like where Frisco's located by the Co-America Center.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like I like that
Frisco's a good place.
that area.
It's just
where
kind of
the Rough
landlocked.
Riders-
It's just kind of landlocked in there.
Right, but it's
But
a nice
it's a
little
cool area.
area.
Frisco is a nice little area. That hence why Jerry Jones put the star there.
Right.
Jerry. They don't need nothing else.
Trying to think. Albuquerque.
It would not surprise me.
Great shout out to
Isotopes,
Now, it would not surprise
Isotopes,
me if
baby.
the Mavericks and Stars move to an area like that.
like Frisco or Prosper or something like that.
But I love Dallas. I mean, the AAC. It's kind of a crappy and good area at the same time.
Didn't Cuban want to get the?
Yeah, he
Jazz
doesn't
out
like
of there?
AAC. He don't like AAC.
Where would he go though?
That's the question. Arlington, come on, baby. Imagine all the
Just
sports
make
teams
Arlington
in
the center for all Dallas sports.
That would be legit and crazy at the same
Like
time.
Texas Live, just add basketball and hockey arena, Texas Live, and let's
dude.
go.
Hey,
Man,
that would be so badass, like during playoff seasons and
imagine
stuff.
like the Final Four when they host it there. Imagine when they host the Super Bowl. Imagine when they host the World Cup. That area of you will not be getting. You would have to literally park in Plano and walk to Arlington.
Oh yeah, you have to Uber your ass in there.
You won't even get to get a car in there, man. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to walk to it.
That's fine. Hey, you're right. So since it's going to be that big, let's go ahead and invest in a damn train system that runs into fucking Texas Live area, and we'll bank forever.
Let's go.
Josh, tell them the train system we looked up when you were here.
There's a train system?
Yes.
Yeah, you talking about you talking about the deal that's supposed to get from like Dallas to Houston in like a couple hours or something?
We did look that up.
Dude, you know how awesome that is?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Josh will be at our house every night.
I know. It's freaking great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll miss y'all.
We'll make it.
They wouldn't go out to Lubbock just yet.
They would not go to our little town where you is.
We'll invest into a detour all the way up there for just you.
Well, I'm sure that eventually they'll make one to Lubbock because Lubbock is like the west.
Lubbock's growing, man.
It is.
It's crazy.
What about
every time I drive there, I see more
Lubbock?
crap
Does
being
Lubbock
built.
deserve a professional sports team?
No.
No. Hey, that's an Amarillo ding dong.
No, they do. I think Lubbock.
I've never been to Amarillo or Lubbock. So whatever.
Well, hey, educate yourself and come out here with a podunk with Texas boy.
Learn how to spell pristine, then I will.
You're asking to spell pristine. Stop.
I think Lubbock.
Because I graduated from that Mart education got me good.
The only thing they good at was football.
You're damn right.
Yep, they still are. I think Lubbock deserves at least a semi-pro team or something.
Ready? P-R-I-S-T-I-N.
Google doesn't count.
Oh my God.
Get your ass to West.
Anyways.
It's
Get
definitely
your
time to
ass
shave
to
your
West
mud flaps now.
Oh, you know, I really was gonna let him hitch a ride with me, but you know he's having a little EHA, so it's gonna be a little hard for him to get out and about with the boys now.
Wait, where are we going?
Well,
Huh?
Where are we going?
I was gonna have you go to a wedding with me, my friend, but you gotta have a little
When?
EHA.
Wait, when?
No, don't worry about it now.
Oh, I'm still in, damn it.
You can't go.
No, bullshit. Yeah, I can.
Baby
it's like the week before your baby shower.
yeah, man. It's the week
Oh,
before
yeah,
your
shit,
baby
I'm not
shower.
on that.
Yeah, I told you.
Actually, you know what? I'll take the stabbing. Let's go.
Take
I'll
a
be
stabbing.
Taylor, did you say that?
Hey, just make sure you hide the knives.
Yeah.
That?
We'll be like the Hangover. We'll just steal them. We'll be able to say, "Hey, paging doctor," that thing. Steal them and then go. We'll have our Hangover trip. And
I tried to get Taylor to come in the video and get baby Kinsley's first appearance on the podcast, but she wouldn't do it.
Kinsley.
Come on, baby Kinsley.
No.
Baby Kinsley.
Oh, it's Kinsley, so Kinsley, Lynn, Lynn.
Of course it's Lynn.
Yeah, dog.
Let's get the most redneck. Hey, what is it? Is it Ted? Is it Ted? Ted 2. Is it any name with a Lynn after it? Yes.
It's the first one.
Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, it's the first one.
It's the first one.
Damn.
Wait, I thought so.
So proud of you.
I might be, I don't know, oblivious to this, but it's a girl. I thought y'all were waiting on the gender. I know. I'm not thinking right
damn,
now.
gender reveal was like a month ago.
We had a gender
Where
reveal
were
back
you
in
at?
like February.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
Okay, hey.
There's another bad take. There's 3. There's strikeouts.
Holy crap.
Hey, he's on a road today.
You're out of here.
I'm
You
sorry.
are
I was.
Up here.
I apologize. I was.
And it's even on the thing, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's just baby Cobbs.
Hey, did it have the registry on it?
Yes.
Yes. Target or Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
Taylor,
I told Taylor I was
hope you
going to
hear
start
this.
putting.
Taylor, hope you hear this. We got a great gift for your husband.
Yeah.
Shit, listen. But hey, I told Taylor the other day I was going to start putting fishing poles on there. She was like, "For what?" I was like, "Oh, it's for the baby. I'm just going to use it before she gets here, but it's for the baby."
It's pre-use.
Yeah, I got to make sure it works right and proper and safe.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
so
Yes, Josh, it is a girl.
yeah,
And it is Kinsley Lynn.
So anyway, so let's not let you say anything else. You are cut off. You're on timeout, Mr. Strikeout. You have 20, actually, you have 20 seconds to reset. 20 seconds to reset, then you can come back. So starting now. All right, your time's up. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
That was a fast 20 seconds.
Wow, that's what happens when I've had a
Fruit roll up, baby.
That's what she,
Yeah,
that's
fruit
what
roll-up.
she said.
Wow.
Oh.
That was my fruit roll up time. Anyways, great talk overall,
Scooby,
gentlemen.
get out.
Uh, great talk overall. We talked a little bit about NCAA. We didn't get into March Madness because we talked more about other things around
We
it.
did talk about March Madness. Talk about the
Well,
Madness
a little
tournament.
bit
Yeah,
more
we
about
talked about
other
the
stuff. Well, that was the majority of the conversation, but we didn't talk about UConn's dominance or anything like that. But shout out to UConn for their dominance running through the tournament, winning it all. Um, it's also a great tournament overall to see all the upsets and all that kind of stuff. And the teams that made a Final Four, it was 2 5 seeds, a 4 seed, and 9 seeds. Was just crazy to see and all that. Of course, the Masters. Shout out John Rahm and his great performance at the Masters. Talked about NBA. So again, great episode overall, fellas. As always, appreciate you being on and giving your inputs and listening to my BS all the time and how I'm terrible at this
Like how
and whatnot. But as we wrap it up here with the final act, I don't know, Jack, if you want to share it or if you want me to talk about it. Jack had a pretty good not
it's
necessarily a
fitting,
quote, but more
it's
of an
fitting for questions.
inspirational thing for us as coaches in our group chat. So I'll let Jack share that here in a second. And of course, like always, I got a couple of stats first. So Jack, please share with us what you sent with the group chat.
As coaches out there. We don't just coach sports. We coach people. We coach choices. We coach consequences. We coach respect. We coach life on and off the field / court.
Amen. Yes, we do. We definitely do for it to the T. Right now, a couple of the facts that I have for us, and I don't have them on here. I just have them written down. Is that the other day? I'm sure I sent it to the group too, but it was actually crazy. I think it was in a minor league game, but it was like if I think it was like the first time ever or whatever. But it was a team threw a no hitter and still lost the game.
7-5.
And it was crazy to go through and read about that game and to read how it all transpired about how the team was able to score the amount of runs they did through walks, hit batters, errors, and all that kind of stuff. But it's just something you wouldn't think of that you throw a no hitter and you still lose. If it's like 1-0 or whatever, you can kind of see the probability of it. But like when they lost 7-5, whatever the score was, it's just mind boggling to think that can occur, but it did. The other thing was we mentioned it in our pre-recording was that in the NBA, this is the first time that no Texas team has made the playoffs.
Why do you do that?
Absolute.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Why?
It's
I'm still a
that
little soft about it right now.
I
I'm a
know
little moist.
fruit roll up will help.
Are you moist?
I heard fruit roll up help. Anyways, and then the last one I have the stat was I think this gentleman is in the minor league somewhere, but his name is Brady Ware on March April 7th of this year, he not only hit for the cycle in a game, but he also threw a no hitter in the same game. So I thought that was
Wow.
That's impressive.
really, really impressive for the baseball guys.
To add into your no hitter and losing, your Yankees actually did it back in like 1998. You can look it up. Andy Hawkins, which is actually one of my best. Damn, it's actually Andy Hawkins, which is actually one of my best friend's uncle. He was a bullpen coach for the Rangers for a while. Now he's a manager in the minor leagues, but he threw a no hitter against the White Sox and still lost 4-0.
Wow. That's just crazy. It's just crazy
So
to
he
think about throwing
stays
a
with the
hitter.
Yankees, being able to choke. Got it.
Yes,
In
yeah, oh yeah, it's
1998.
been a trend for a long time.
We can't.
Anyway, yeah, we're good here. Anyways, so again, that
I'm
wraps
the captain now.
I'm the captain now.
this wraps up another great episode of the DBAB podcast. Shout out to Hannah for making sure that I get all 4 letters in there. And stuff.
Hey,
Shout out to all of our listeners. Shout out to
Shout out Austin.
shout
Yeah,
out Coach
shout out to Coach
Blaze,
Austin.
our loyal listeners.
Yep.
Shout out to them all. Just big old shout outs from thank you for taking
All
the time
4
to
of
listen
you.
to us talk
All
about our
4 of you out
craziness.
there, babies.
But without further ado, gentlemen, this is the DBA